Hello queers. Girl, yes, I know I haven't posted in like a month and I don't wanna scare you all and say I'm low-key growing out of this channel because I'm not, but I just haven't been feeling it lately, especially with the lack of content. Like it's giving Sahara Desert, it's been dry as hell, you get it. I know we're getting into summer break right now too, but I don't wanna get your hopes up in case I stay inactive or inconsistent with my uploads because I've been going through it y'all. But what made me come back on this random Saturday? Thomas Astruc saying the most enraging shit I've seen him say on Twitter in probably years. Astruc and saying crazy shit? You're probably gonna say fork found in kitchen. But when I tell you nothing could have prepared me for this level of unhinged and mischaracterization of his very own characters. Astruc tweets so insane it made me come back on YouTube after a whole month. Now I've clocked this man many times on this channel but he never learns, so let me clock his tea again. After posting my Chloe video a few months ago, I didn't think I would ever have to talk about her again, even with Astruc shoving her in our faces every 2 episodes now with videos from New York or wherever the hell she was shipped off to with her abusive mother. Oop, don't let Astruc hear this, he'll get mad. We called Audrey abusive. Before I get into this, I wanna put out a little trigger warning because we will be talking about child abuse in this video since that's what this whole conversation is about. So a few days ago at the time of me writing this, there was discourse on Twitter about Chloe once again. Tommy the truck joined the conversation and started fighting Chloe stans. Nothing new here, but the things he said about Chloe and her upbringing in particular are making me question if he understands anything he writes at all. Where do we even start? Hell, let's start with this. Someone said we need to save Chloe from men who don't understand abuse victims, and this is what he said. Chloe, victim of abuse. It would be funny if it wasn't insulting for kids who have really been abused and bullied. You should be ashamed.
Hey, Martin Luther King, shout out to Big Bro. If it wasn't for Big Bro, I wouldn't be rapping though. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be here rapping this shit, trapping this shit, stealing shit for my family and shit. Can't forget about Malcolm X and Rosa Parks. I feel like we made it out the park, but it don't matter because of Martin Luther King. And it got them.
I don't think he could have come up with a more insane response than this. Guys, this has to be rage bait, I'm so sorry. Like, how are you this dense? Your whole show focuses on themes of abuse and cycles of abuse and breaking them, and in Chloe's case not breaking them, I guess, so far at least, because not all abuse victims are the same, and this apparently is what he doesn't know, because what did he think whatever Chloe and her family got going on is called? It's called abuse, babes, and you've been telling us this in your show since season 2 despite trying to gaslight us now. Hell, what else this crazy bitch say? Neglect doesn't apply to Chloe. She was poorly educated and given bad values and a bad example. Okay, so let me ask you this. What is being poorly educated and given bad values and having bad examples for parents called? In other words, child abuse. Poorly educated is minimizing it to like hello. Neglect in French is the failure to provide for a child's basic needs. It's the opposite of what's happening to Chloe. Stop talking nonsense. Let's check the dictionary and see if this is correct then. Neglect, a disregard of duty resulting from carelessness, indifference, or willfulness, especially a failure to provide a child under one's care with proper food, clothing, shelter, supervision, medical care, or emotional stability. Compare abuse. Notice how he conveniently skipped the last one? Yeah, so by definition she is neglected. If we do this with all the other neglected kids in this show with his definition of neglect that skips the providing emotional stability part, then none of them are neglected. Why am I bringing up the other neglected kids? Because then someone asked him literally what I just said and he made it worse by responding with literally comparing all the abused kids to each other, and accusing OP of comparing them. Girl, what? Neglect is when you don't feed your kid or give them a home. That's it? That's his definition of neglect? So this whole time he's been writing this whole timeline for Chloe and what happened to her after her mom left her and had another baby in New York, and taught her that in order to get her approval she needs to be mean as hell, Her father is a corrupt pussy politician with no backbone who in Chloe's words literally corrupted her himself and is the equivalent of those parents who give their baby an iPad to keep them entertained as long as they shut up. Her being in a rich family doesn't take away from the fact that they both emotionally neglected her. Yeah, Tommy, words have meaning and that's why you need to learn that meaning. Neglect is abuse, babes. I don't know who told you otherwise. You don't have to like someone whether they're a fictional character or not to admit that they were abused just because they don't fit your standards of the perfect victim. So that's just him being a fuck-ass man-child and biased for no reason. Like it's no news that he doesn't like Chloe, but this frying me. Blocking fans because they're trying to educate you on what neglect actually is since you have a warped definition of it. Comparing victims on top of that and expecting us to take you seriously is crazy. Not that anyone takes this man seriously at this point, but if anyone had any hope in this man, I have bad news for you. Remember how in my Chloe video I touched on the whole Felix-Chloe double standard thing and said it has nothing to do with gender and it's literally just two cases of abused kids and how they decide to move forward with their trauma? I guess Astruc didn't write it that way intentionally. The mom fell. Like you can't make this up. Chloe's mom humiliating her in public and enabling her to be a terrible person is not child abuse. Well, yes, because she's still getting fed and she lives in her dad's hotel. Comparing soooo victims just tells you everything you need to know about this man and how he sees abuse victims. Oh, Chloe didn't go through what Adrian or Felix or Kagami or Ivan went through, so she wasn't abused. Comparing apples to oranges. Four completely different cases with different backgrounds, by the way. Chloe was emotionally neglected by both of her parents. Children need attention. When they don't get it, they try to get it in other ways because that's human nature. That's literally what happened to Chloe, just more exaggerated because we're talking about two monsters of parents. The only contact Chloe had with her mom from the age of 5 to 14, almost a decade, was seeing her in the media. And when she did come back, all she got was shame and was made to act like shit just to get her attention. Oh, look at them bonding, cute mother and daughter moment. Girl, no. That's Audrey not lashing out for once just because her daughter mirrored her abuse behavior and that makes her happy. Now say it again with your chest. Chloe wasn't abused? If you think it can't get worse, I'm gonna hold your hand reading this next tweet. Chloe belongs to a community with a certain value system. Values she accepts and defends, unlike Andre and Zoe who decide to break away from it. This gotta be the most stupid take I've ever heard about all three of these characters. I don't even know where to start, bro. Chloe was born into this cursed ass family and didn't choose any of the values that she was raised with and can't just change her environment because this is what's familiar to her. Again, I'm not defending her, but we are talking about treating abused children in a kids show right now. Even with the guidance of an authority figure like Ladybug who she admired, she didn't get the attention she wanted from and out of her, and that led to her hating even her quote-unquote title. That's her story so far and it's not bad. If anything, it's realistic and it's just one case of a victim who doesn't break the cycle like another one may have done. Mind you, we don't even know if Felix really broke the cycle either or relapsed because we haven't seen him since representation. Since Thomas brought up all the other abused kids, let's get into that too. If there's one thing you should never do as a writer of a kids show that focuses so much on child abuse, whether you intend to or not, is compare the abuse to invalidate someone else's story. So not only is this man invalidating Chloe's abuse, that mind you, he wrote, he's also invalidating all the abuse victims who relate to Chloe's experience. Speaking up, he's saying people should be ashamed for saying Chloe was abused and that it's offensive to real victims. The real victims in question are jumping him because he has no idea what he's talking about, as we should. Playing Trauma Olympics with his characters? Bro, someone please take this man's devices away. You would expect someone who puts so much focus on the abusive parents in his show to have done research and know a thing or two about how abuse works and that it's not a black or white thing, right? Like, this is what disappointed me the most about this as someone who's also a victim. Adrian, Kagami, Felix, Ivan, Chloe. All of them are victims, but all very different. Abuse takes on many different forms and it's not just physical. Just because Chloe wasn't physically abused doesn't mean the abuse she endured is not valid. I can't believe I have to say this in a video in response to Thomas Astruc's meltdown, bros, and the flood. Him getting so defensive over victims relating to Chloe and saying she was in fact emotionally abused and neglected and shaming us for it on main is beyond insane, and I don't know who gave him the nerve. Thinking he can speak over the victims who apparently be offended over the simple fact that Chloe was neglected is so disgusting. Like, this might be the final straw for me, honestly. I used to think the season 5 finale was offensive to victims, being one myself, but looking back, I guess I wasn't seeing the vision when it came to the overall story and mostly focused on the moral part from a kids show's standpoint, since that is the target audience and what this tells kids. And with the show's history of mistreating Adrian in terms of screen time and importance, you can understand why I was so pissed. If you watch my London special analysis again, I'll talk about my feelings on it when I do an updated review, because now I do see the vision. And I was pretty much just confused because that wasn't the direction I was expecting them to take. Do I still think Adrian was treated like shit in the finale character development wise? Well, yes, but that doesn't change the fact that the new dystopian world built on lies forced upon Ladybug is kinda fire. So I mostly take back what I said about the finale being offensive to victims personally. Emphasis on mostly. But this right here is the most offensive thing you can say to fans of the show who are victims. Is Thomas a victim of child abuse himself and doesn't see Chloe's story as a case of child abuse because that wasn't his experience? I didn't want to go there because I don't want to speculate, but at least tell us where you're coming from instead of trying to speak over us when we say Chloe was abused. Defining neglect to prove your point but leaving out the box that says lack of support system is neglect, therefore there was no point made, just what is convenient to him. Like, baby, you just sound stupid. Circling back to what I said in the beginning of this video, Audrey is emotionally abusive not to just Chloe but to both of her daughters, and so is Andre, and no matter how much he tries to gaslight is that they're not and that Andre quote unquote changed, it's never going to happen, because it's literally not true, and anyone who watches can see how biased he sounds when he talks about Andre versus Chloe. Honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is the real double standard when it comes to redemption, because Thomas genuinely wants us to think Andre switched sides just because he dropped politics and gave us that little sob story, but no one wants to clock how he gave up on his daughter after having failed her whole life and sending her to live with her emotionally neglectful and abusive mother in another country. Why am I supposed to feel bad for this grown-ass man and not for the daughter he failed to raise? Oh, because he's so scared of his Anna Wintour-looking ass wife? As far as we know, she's not physically abusive and her outbursts are just funny at best. Like, fuck is she gonna do if he stands up to her for once? Let's get into it. He is not the victim and no one will ever convince me that he is. Girl, fuck both or Chloe's parents, and fuck Astruc too for trying to cover up for them, basically saying they're not abusive and everyone's got Chloe wrong. Ooh, I almost forgot this one. Chloe fans equals huge red flag. The more they advocate for her, the less likely we'll use her again. The way this gotta be reverse psychology, because what do you mean she already has this much screen time in season 6 despite being supposedly written out of the show, but Felix is nowhere to be seen? Like, I'm sorry, but it had to be said. He means the more you advocate for her, the more screen time he will be giving her. Shit, maybe we should start advocating for Felix too, then that's the only way we'll see him in an episode. All jokes aside, is this not him confirming he has no vision for the plot and just goes along with it depending on the fans' reactions? Like, is it just me? Help. Like, if you hate the character you've created so much, like the goofy ass man child, you, or maybe put her to the side and let her rest and just focus on the characters that don't piss you off. Hate repeating myself, but I need to remind you all of the catastrophic episode run that was episodes 21 to 23 that led to Chloe's dictator arc that nobody asked for. Like, all that did is take away important screen time from things we should have gotten instead. Hell, what happened to Leela and Kagami after Kagami replaced her AI in the Alliance Ring? Felix and Kagami talking? Like, you know you love writing Chloe, don't piss me off. Moral of the story: emotional neglect is a form of abuse, so Chloe was in fact emotionally abused. Astruc needs to educate himself and apologize, because everything he said in those tweets is what's actually offensive to victims. And delete Twitter. Shit, wasn't his ass dropping Twitter a year ago and moving to Blue Sky is something because he said it's less drama? Shit, at some point while writing this I was thinking maybe this whole coke rant is just rage bait and he's doing it to attract more people so they'll watch the show and he'll get more money. But knowing how he is, I think he genuinely believes the lies he's tweeting about his show. Like, did you forget how you wrote her parents to be neglectful abusive shits? Did you mix them up with someone else's parents? Are you talking about a different Chloe who isn't abused? Girl, I don't know, but this is the level of unhinged he's reached, so do with all these tweets what you will. If you're wondering where I would rank these tweets in the worst Thomas Astruc tier list, they're nearing the very bottom, I fear.
Martin Luther King! Hey, Martin Luther King, shout out to Big Bro. bro. If it wasn't for Big Bro, I wouldn't be rapping though. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be here rapping this shit, trapping this shit, stealing shit from my family and shit. Can't forget about Malcolm X and Rosa Parks. I feel like we made it out the park, but it don't matter because of Martin Luther King. And they got them drinking.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. What have I done? I'm so sorry.
I can't feel my
Oh
kid.
crap! The tigers seem like to be, guys. I have bad nerves. I'm so sorry. Feel better, okay?